G'day. Welcome back to Nothing But Footy podcast. I'm here with my co-host Keon.
G'day.
I'm Will, and today we're going to be doing a review of the games upcoming.
Yes, of
How about
round 18.
Bit of a round 18 review. Love to see it.
First of all, how's your day today?
Oh, all right. Not too shabby. How about you?
Yeah, not too bad. You know, we had school.
Oh,
Yeah. But I reckon we can just get straight into it.
sounds good.
So, on Friday night, we got Bulldogs versus St Kilda.
What do you think about that?
Before I get into that, I want to hear your thoughts. My boys up against the Doggies.
This is true. Well, I think this is a must-win for the Saints. I think that if they want to make finals, they have to win this game.
I reckon if we're winning finals, we got to win. I reckon we got to pretty much win the rest of our games. So we got to win.
There's too many. There's what Richmond and St Kilda are going up against each other, and Richmond has quite an easy run home.
They do
if they win a game, obviously. But
Yeah.
What do you think about Bruce? Do you reckon Bruce? Will play?
That's something I'm a little scared about because we got no Dougal Howard in our team,
Yeah.
so we're already down a key forward. And if Brucey is playing, I reckon we're gonna struggle quite a lot.
This is true. It is. It's a tough one. I think you guys will hold up in the forward line, right? But just if Bruce comes back, depending on whether he's in form or not, will be
Yeah.
a bit iffy.
What are your thoughts on the Bulldogs this year? Like, how do you think they've performed after making a grand final, but now they're not even looking at making finals?
It's just not. I don't think they deserve to be in the 8, and I think where they're sitting at with the footy they're playing has represented perfectly. They just haven't closed out games the way they should have. They haven't played good enough footy to be in the 8, and they've shown some good footy against some good sides, but it's against the well, I guess you call the worst sides where you need to just finish off a game, which is something Richmond can't do either. But Western Bulldogs just looking like a worse team this year.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting game, I reckon.
I think it'll be good.
I'm hoping we win, but I guess we'll see.
This is true.
On Saturday afternoon, I guess you could say, we got Adelaide versus Collingwood in Adelaide.
Bro, what do you think about that?
Oh, I reckon it's going to be tight. I'm going with Collingwood to win. I reckon Adelaide's they're not the greatest team, especially after our last week. I think Collingwood will come back. But got to give credit to the amazing year they're having. A lot of people had them at the bottom of their ladder, and now they're smashing it.
So did I. Yeah, no, I think that Adelaide's probably going to win this.
Adelaide?
Actually, no, I don't think they win this. I think they put up a very good fight compared to what they have this season, compared to what they put up against Hawthorn. Home game, obviously. Collingwood, I reckon, are looking a little bit nervous, especially after almost losing to the 18th seed, and probably should have lost to the 18th seed.
Yeah, that was a bit of a shocker game.
I think if Tex has a good game, they'll win.
Yeah.
And I think if Collingwood lets the nerves get to them, then they'll definitely lose this week.
How many high tackles is Jack Ginnivan getting?
Oh, he's going to try for about 13 and get about 2.
Oh, well, I tell you what, he gets them well though. I like what he's doing.
I don't. I hate it. Drops his shoulder.
Yeah, you're not a fan of Cody Waitman either though. So.
Well, are you a fan of him?
Yeah.
Oh, of course you are.
But I'm a small forward myself.
He thinks that it's a skill. He thinks he's mastered a skill.
I think it is a skill. I think it's a skill.
I don't think so. I could do that. Anyone could do that.
Yeah, but you don't see every AFL player doing it. You see the
because not every AFL player is a flog, are they?
Well, I reckon there's two sides to every story, but
also the thing is, I guess Cody Waitman could, but I think at the rate that Jack Ginnivan's going to, he's going to have to stay at Collingwood for the rest of his career.
Oh, he's a Collingwood player, and I feel like if he leaves, what happened to Javen Stevenson will happen to him.
Yeah, and the thing is, if he leaves, and when he does leave, if he stops playing good football and, doesn't get picked, because it happens to small forwards, No one's going to want him because everyone in their squad hates him because all he does is rev them up and do all these bullshit high tackles, and the morale on the team that he goes to is just going to be no good.
Did you see though? Collingwood starting like it looks like Jack Ginnivan's teaching the players how to get those high tackles. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
I was watching the game on the weekend, and there was a lot of high tackles to Collingwood. I reckon there's something going on there. Don't know if it's with Craig McRae or Ginnivan's teaching them something, but something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, of course he's teaching them. Log-like activity.
Wow.
So-
then you got GWS versus Brisbane. What are your thoughts on that?
True. Oh, I think after last week, it's really hard to tell, isn't it?
Yeah, I
It was
reckon.
a big loss. I don't know how that happened. I guess COVID was a big part in it. And I don't think COVID's going to help them at all this week as well. I think they're going to be a bit of a rev down team.
Yeah, they're
Not
gonna.
very-
I think they're gonna lose more players.
Health and safety protocols just get everyone.
I do feel
Especially at the
bad for
moment.
them.
Oh, 100%. What do you think? How do you think about it?
Oh, I reckon Brisbane get over the line still.
Yep,
Because
I do too.
they could have Rich and Zorko come back into the team. Those are some two major ins for them.
Yep,
You get
Hopefully
Coleman
they
back
get
in
injured
as well
again.
from COVID.
it's true.
But yeah, I reckon it'll be. I reckon that could be one of the best games of the round. Honestly, at home, Brisbane not always the greatest travelling team. I feel.
Yeah, I think
Toby
they
Green?
have- this is true. I think they have to win this to stay in the top four. I think
Yeah,
that if they lose this, it just starts to all slip away, especially against a bottom 10 side.
and I feel like this year, maybe next year, they're coming to the end of their grand final chase.
And they still haven't made one.
Yeah, they had a chance in 2020 when it was up at the Gabba, and they couldn't even make the grand final.
Yeah.
Toby Green,
Tides.
I
I think
reckon-
if Toby Green plays good footy, then the GWS Giants are in contention.
he's just a fun player to watch. I reckon whenever he's up and about, so is GWS.
Yep. He hasn't been the best this year.
No,
Obviously, coming out of suspension. How many weeks did he miss at the start?
I think he missed like a good 4 or 5 weeks. I believe
4
it
or
was.
5 weeks. And then just from then, you just haven't really heard his name, have you?
No,
There was that one game where he played a good game.
yeah, that was the game
Right.
against the Bulldogs. I believe he kicked 5 or 6. I think it was.
Yeah, but just apart from that, like you just haven't been hearing about him. Like his form last year was incredible,
Yeah,
and then this year's just really dropped off.
be interesting to see what he can do.
I mean, I hope he plays well, but
I
as
hope
much
he
of a
does.
flog he is, but
Nah, he's fun to watch.
he is fun to watch though.
What about the Tigs versus North Melbourne?
Okay, I have a message for Jason Castagna. I know
Oh,
you're not listening. I don't think he's gonna get picked. Surely he doesn't get picked.
you don't think he's gonna get picked?
I don't think he's gonna get picked. So it doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter. I'm not
What-
even gonna bother.
What's
I'm not
what's
even
your
gonna bother.
what's your message to Jason Castagna?
Learn how to kick. You have 3 sessions of footy a week. Why don't you get to recap and see how horrible you played? You get to replay that clip over and over on every footy page, every podcast, every fucking media and everything. Excuse my language, sorry about that. But sometimes you get a bit angry when North Melbourne's only sitting at $6.70 and Richmond's at $1.11.
I feel like
Against
Jason.
Geelong,
I feel
they
like
were
Jason
$17
Castagna.
to win.
7. Oh,
There was 17, and now they're only $6.70. So
I reckon Jason Castagna's a bit of a Dan Butler for St Kilda as well. He does annoy you
used to love-
sometimes.
yeah, no, I still do love Castagna. I still think he's a great player. He did get dropped, came back, and probably proved that he should be in the team still.
Yeah,
And then this just again mucked it all up for him.
yeah.
So I just don't think it's just no good. I think it should be a blowout. I think
Yep.
it has to be a
Oh,
blowout.
I think it will.
There's no other, like, Richmond has to be the most pissed off team in the AFL this
Oh,
year.
they would not
Oh,
be
sorry, not this
happy.
year, this round.
They would not be happy.
Yeah.
Although,
What do you think about North?
that's a very interesting question. Obviously, David Noble getting sacked on yesterday
Getting
he
the
got
sack.
sacked as we're recording it.
Steps down.
Yeah, step down. He got sacked. They went
He
to
got
him.
sacked.
He's like, either we'll say we sacked you, or you can say you want to stand down. So we all know he got sacked. I think it was coming. I do feel bad for him. It's not like he's got the greatest list either, but with what he has, he should be doing better for AFL standard. That's what I feel.
35 losses is just not
Yeah.
where you should be. It's just
No.
no good. But
I feel like either I don't know if it's going to be a blowout. I feel like either North Melbourne absolutely gets smashed, or
it'll be a really close game.
yeah, I just feel like this North Melbourne team with a new coach, there's no pressure on them. They just come out and they just play their own footy.
And that's where I think it could go one of two ways. It could go the way of North Melbourne, where there's new coach, and it'll show if David Noble was a good coach or not. Or
that is true.
That good. Because if the person that steps in and they play good footy, it's like, oh, okay. But I think it can go or the other way. It's like, fuck, we've got no coach. What do we do? And then kind of panic and just play not as well. Stop sticking to what they normally play with, which isn't bad. Like they do run that zone.
Yeah.
That I dislike, but...
And I'll tell you one thing. We were talking about who we reckon is going to replace him, and later that night I was thinking, what about... what's his name? Oh no, I've had a mind blank here. This isn't great.
No.
Oh no. Oh no, this is not good for me. I'm family friends with him as well. Yeah, I think I'll have to come back to it.
That's no good.
I'll come back. We'll come back to it. This is this is a massive mental blank.
If you know him too, you cannot be doing that.
I know. If he's listened to this podcast, he won't be happy. If my grandma listens to this podcast, she won't be happy. The worst part is he was the St Kilda ex-coach. Oh no! All right, I think we're gonna have to move on
to Carlton versus Geelong. Yeah, what's your thoughts on that?
Oh, Jeremy Cameron. He's had a quiet couple of weeks, but I feel like he's had a couple of quiet weeks. It's time for him to step up again. He's having a ripper year.
Yep, very good year from Jeremy Cameron, that's for sure. And I think as has Carlton. Carlton just came out of nowhere. I mean, everyone knew they had a young side, but nobody really believed. Well, I didn't believe that they'd be a good side after last year when they had pretty much the same kind of age side, and that's when I thought they would show that they should be a good side. Like the thing about those kind of sides is Gold Coast, you can tell that they're still a young side, but you could tell that they're still a good side. Same with Hawthorn.
Carlton's really surprised me.
But last year, Carlton was just terrible. And this year, they've just come in.
Well, they've been terrible for 20 years.
Yeah. It's about time they're in the top 8, honestly.
I feel happy for them, but at the same time, I'm not happy. But
I hate the fans. Sorry,
I do hate the fans.
Fan.
Yeah.
It's the first time back in finals in about 30 years. I'll just calm down a little bit.
And they're all up in themselves. They're all like, who's making finals?
We're making the NFC in September.
Next game. Oh, actually, I do have a question for you. No Dangerfield. How does that hit Geelong?
I don't know. He is subject to test, so he could still play. But I think that if Dangerfield doesn't play, that's huge.
I think it is. I think when he plays, there's a new aspect.
It's where Carlton is like big. That's where they win their games, and I think without
he's just that big
Dangerfield,
that big body presence. We saw what he could do against North Melbourne. Runs out the middle in the first 10 seconds. So
yeah, and even if he doesn't, even if he's not really in form, I don't think he's in form. I think he's a bit washed, but. Even so, I think he's a must-need in your team for the midfield.
Yeah, and going back to North Melbourne about who I thought would coach him, I've just done a bit of research. I was thinking about Ross Lyon. Now, this man, I think he set up what Freo has right now. He set him up. Let's be honest. He put in a good structure. He should have won multiple grand finals with St Kilda, should be coaching. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to North Melbourne.
And everyone's talking about it. It's all
Yeah.
over 7 News, 92.9.
But
You
yeah,
never know.
I reckon Ross Lyon could be coaching North Melbourne next year.
But I feel like Alistair Clarkson's going to. I feel like he has to.
No GWS.
I've just been thinking about it more, and I feel like he's going to go for a Vic team, a young Vic team.
Well, there was something I saw this morning that Alistair Clarkson said. He goes, "At no chance will I be going to North Melbourne with the culture of that football club." So he's rolled that out. He said he's not going to North Melbourne,
Oh, never mind then.
which I think is shows a major problem in North Melbourne. The fact that
100%.
a coach doesn't want to go coach there because you've got problems inside that club. Like, that's not good for a club.
But do you think that Ross Lyon will take that coaching role at North Melbourne, considering he has things to say about the players? You heard what he said about Jade Stevenson, calling him a non-competitor,
Yeah, but
just having a bit of a jab at him.
I feel like if there's someone that can turn some players around with some negativity, but some loved negativity, not doing it to hate on the player, but trying to do it to make them the better person. I feel like Ross Lyon can do it. Because think about it, David Noble had to say sorry to his players early this year for saying some mean comments that they weren't happy about. Ross Lyon isn't going to be saying sorry to his players.
Nah.
So,
And he definitely will be just as bad, that's for sure.
yeah.
I feel like he's going to put some heart and some grit into these boys.
And they need that team.
They lack confidence.
They do.
They lack accountability. Like, it's, oh yeah, we lost, we're a shit side,
Yeah.
not my fault.
They've just blame it on the next person.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what everyone does, and I feel like David Noble didn't treat that well correctly.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it could be a good side.
it could be. I reckon whoever goes there, can turn the team around, turn him into something good.
Unless you're David Noble.
Well, yeah, unless you're David Noble. But yeah, it'll be good to see what they can do for the rest of the season.
This is true.
But moving on to Fremantle versus Sydney on Saturday night at Optus Stadium. Thoughts on that?
Freo and Sydney. I don't know. I think Fremantle.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a guaranteed win for Fremantle. I just don't really like where Sydney's at the moment.
And I feel like it's which type of Sydney shows up.
Exactly. And the fact that there are two types of Sydneys just pissed me off. And they just, like, they always count me out when you play a good side against them. I'm always going to go for the other player.
Yeah.
Other team, sorry.
I just reckon after what's happened to them the last couple of weeks, like that Essendon game, they had pretty much won that game, and Essendon comes back and wins the game.
It's just not good enough from them. But if it's the Sydney that is the informed Sydney that shows up, I think they've definitely won the game, because there is a type of Sydney that we've seen this year that's played some very good footy.
Oh, definitely up there. They beat Melbourne. So
yeah, and there's some other type of Sydney that's just. Oh,
what about the big buddy? Where's he next? Do you reckon?
Well, after seeing, I thought he'd stay, but after seeing the news today, I'm not too sure at all.
What's the news today?
Well, Swans offered him 500 grand, and he didn't want that. He wants 700 grand, and I don't think Sydney's willing to give up that. Apparently, that's what 7AFL said.
They're only going to give him 50. Wow, that's crazy. He's on 1 million right now, and they want a half. They want a half.
But I don't think it'd be a big. Like, he's on 1 mil for 9 years.
Oh, that's pretty. I didn't hear about that. That's pretty interesting.
I don't know. I don't think he'll be here. Yeah,
Do you
look.
reckon?
So,
Do you reckon he's going to retire, or he's going to go somewhere else?
I think he'll go somewhere else.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I reckon he's
going to want money.
I reckon his best bet could be down the road at GWS.
I agree.
Or you never know, Sam Mitchell might do some wonders on him and be like, "Hey, big buddy, come back to Hawthorn." You never
Oh,
know.
I don't really need him, do they?
They don't, but it's still you're gonna have 1,000 goal kicker teaching Mitch Lewis and Jake Kaczynski.
Drew, I actually think he might retire because he is. If that's how much he's asking for, he's asking for way too much.
I think clubs will
Nobody.
give that to him though.
You think so?
I think he's an 1,000 goal kicker. He can turn a game on and off. And especially like a team like Hawthorn, they haven't got too many highly priced players. Like maybe not a GWS because they have a lot of top players, but Hawthorn, they're trying to build, get him in your team, or even I've just thought about this. What about North Melbourne? They did say they want an older player to help build the team. Could go there.
That's just a bit far. I think he's too old for how much he's asking. You could pick up some really good players for 700k.
But I think it also comes with the experience, though.
Yeah, but you don't know his form next year. You don't know his injury next year. You don't know how he's going to gel with the team. You don't know if he's going to be like, because he's better than everyone else.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's absolutely dreaming to think that he should be getting paid. It says a deal between 700,000 and 800,000.
I think 700,000 max. I'd give him 650. That's if I was a club, I'd go 650.
I think I'd max out at 600,000.
Yeah,
but I like that Sydney only gave him 500,000, and he can if he wants to work with that, then he can work with that. But I don't think Sydney's budging because it says they've hit a roadblock. So
I do like that from Sydney though. That shows that they think they can still do well without Buddy. That's what I think about. Like, if they're able to say, "Nah, we're only going to give you $500,000, and if you don't want it, then goodbye." I think that's pretty good from them.
I just don't think. I don't think Buddy would be the best fit for North because there's like a level of like experience and old, and then there's like too old, like Hodge for Essendon. Except he did bits
at Brisbane.
Sorry, Brisbane, yes. No. Yeah, no. Hodge went Brisbane.
Yeah.
I forgot who went Essendon. But Hodge at Brisbane, like he only lasted a couple of years and he did great. Don't get me wrong. But
I just feel like Buddy helping Nick Larkey maybe, or even a Hawthorn helping a Mitch Lewis.
You have a Drac Rewalt as a free agent at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's true. Or
he's not too old.
North Melbourne could take Jack Rewalt and Buddy Franklin. Imagine that.
Like, he's 33, which I guess is a bit old, but his experience level is crazy.
Buddy's 35.
Exactly.
He's played.
North's going to want at least two years out of them, probably.
He's played 332 games, kicked 1,029 goals, 2 premierships, 8 All-Australians, 4 Colemans, 6 Hawthorn leading goal kicker, 6 Sydney leading goal kicker, 2 goal of the years. He's pretty much done it all.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like he might retire. He doesn't need to do anything much else.
Yeah, he's proved himself.
I think that if Sydney don't give him an offer, he'll probably retire.
Yeah.
And that's what Sydney's going to offer.
I think it will be sad when Buddy's not playing anymore. Like, you watch the footy to see Buddy.
He was the chief of our generation.
Pretty much.
Because we didn't get a Lockett. We didn't get
we got a Buddy Franklin.
Chief. We had a Buddy Franklin, and a Cyril.
If those two stayed together for longer, like for their whole careers, what could have been?
Cyril to bits.
What could have been
if he kept playing? That's what I think of.
If he kept playing, I personally believe Hawthorn could have had a chance at another grand final.
Oh, wait, like easily. I think 2 more. I think chances at grand finals, I think like 3. And then I think being in the grand final, I think they'd probably be in 1, maybe 2.
Yeah.
But he was just that kind of player. He was so impactful.
Not to be.
Fucking Hawthorn's president screwed that all up.
and he's still there as well.
Yeah, it's just sad.
We're
But
talking about Hawthorn. We got Hawthorn versus West Coast on Sunday.
you are correct. And how about the Eagles?
Oh, the pain. I do feel sorry
Yeah,
for, like, they should be doing
I mean,
better than they are.
it started off with health and safety protocols, and
Yeah.
then it just turned into a bad football
It
football club.
turned into half a waffle team.
Yeah, it just never got back to what they were.
I
And
just
they were a
remember
very good side.
watching a West Coast game once, and I was looking at the super coach scores, and there was only half the West Coast team on that list because the other half of them were all waffle players and they didn't have a super coach profile. And you're like,
Yep.
who's playing?
Yeah, you got no idea.
Yeah.
That was hectic when it was all just like they were like struggling to pick people out, and then the waffle didn't have enough players to that
Yeah.
point. Like it was like whoa,
Because
But
their waffle team's
absolute-
not doing well either.
absolutely great time to be a waffle Eagles player.
Like imagine. And also, I reckon we would have been seeing Nick Martin playing if he wasn't playing for Essendon. If he didn't get picked up for Essendon this year, we would have seen Nick Martin playing for West Coast this year in the from the waffle.
Yeah, easily. And it's
But,
nuts.
Thoughts on this game?
Oh, well, I don't know. Nitnat is injured again, obviously. Classic. He's got his knee out. I think that if he plays, they're a decent chance. I like the footy they've been playing. Well, I like their second quarter against Carlton.
I
And
reckon.
I liked their third quarter against Richmond.
I reckon
But-
there's quite a lot to come for that team. Honestly, I think they could be about 3-4 spots higher than they are.
There's a lot to like about them, but there's also a lot to dislike.
It'll
about
be interesting to see what they can do next year. I think
This is
that's what it
true,
comes
yeah.
down to.
them. I agree, and I think with all the rookies that they had
Yeah.
next year, a bit more experienced. You never know what could happen.
I agree with that. Sam Mitchell, he's been having a pretty good year, don't you think?
He has been. As well as the Hawthorn team, I feel like he's just gelled with them like really well.
Yeah, I think coaching him at Box Hill did really help him. And then he comes straight into the squad and he's doing what he's doing.
If you ever like thought about where Sam Mitchell would coach or if he would coach at all, it was always going to be Hawthorn.
Yeah.
And I feel like him having the history that he has just helps that so much more.
I think it
Because
really
people
does.
respect him.
Yeah.
People respect him because they believe that, well, like, whoa, this bloke, he was crazy.
Yeah. And they
All the
currently sit
premierships and just-
They currently sit 14th on the ladder with 5 wins, but they could easily have 3-4 more wins. They've had a lot of close games.
I feel like that doesn't really reflect on how they've played. I feel like they should easily be above a Giants and a Port Adelaide.
Like they lost to Carlton by 1 point.
Yep.
They lost to Melbourne by 10 points. I don't think they would have won that, but they've done well there. They
Yep.
beat Brisbane. They lost to Collingwood by 4 points. Lost to Freo by 7 points.
See, that's the thing. It's just so, like, close games.
He's
And
done
that's
well.
I'm not even a Hawthorn fan. They're probably my third team.
Yeah,
when I think of the teams that I like the most, and it's just
and if you look at most of their games, they've been in front for those games. They're just that young team. They're not as consistent through a whole game.
yeah, this is true. I do think that they aren't a finals side yet, as well.
No.
Like, as much as they have lost those games that they should have won. I don't think they're a top 8 team.
I reckon not next year, the year after, I think is when they'll make their chance and they'll start doing
I
it.
think they need a little bit more depth before they start hitting
Yeah.
finals again.
I agree with that. Then we move on to Melbourne versus Port Adelaide. Now, I'll ask you the question. Can Melbourne still win the premiership?
I think so.
You think so? Are they still the favourite though?
They are, well, when you look at the odds, they're the favourite.
Yeah.
Sportsbet says so, but
I don't know. I think they are. I just think
I think they're definitely the favourite. But I think they're also very much subject to a disappointment, like a crazy upset. I feel
reckon
like this second half of the year, Melbourne could easily get upset. Whereas when you're watching in the first half of the season, this Melbourne side, it was looking like no one could beat them.
yeah. I reckon though, if they make the grand final, they win. I think it's too hard to beat them at the MCG.
Yep.
Like I said this last episode, I reckon that if they played Geelong at the MCG, Melbourne would have won. I just think they're too good of a team in Melbourne.
I think if Melbourne played them anywhere else but GMHBA,
Yeah.
they probably would have won as well.
Yeah.
That's Geelong's ground, and that's why they're pretenders. Because
Do you reckon Geelong's are pretenders?
I don't think they go past the maybe second. I think they win. Probably losing the preliminary.
Quinton won't be happy with that.
Yeah, nah. Quentin, well, his team is 2020 grand final. How about that?
Oh, that was. I had my thoughts on that grand final, but it's
Yeah.
been there. Port Adelaide.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on their comeback from being 0-5 and people saying, "Oh, they're the worst team this year. Get rid of Ken Hinkley."
I knew they'd do a whole lot better.
Bit
You
tired
saw
there.
it.
Bit tired.
Yeah, a bit of a yawn, long school day.
Fair enough.
But I knew they'd do better. Their losses at the start of the year were just so unlucky. You watched them all; they didn't
were,
look
yeah.
like a bad side. Like then at never, one of the games they did, but most of the games that they had lost, they had never looked like a side that wasn't all the way together. You
Yeah.
can kind of tell with those kind of things. They just didn't look like it.
I reckon I did ride them off after I think about 4 games. I was like, I don't know, they're not looking too great. Like they played Melbourne and they lost by I think about 30 points or something.
Everyone else.
I just didn't think that they would do that well this year. I mean, they've had their time. They've had so many chances the last 3-4 years, and they haven't taken them.
Yep.
It's not looking like they're going to make finals. So I think it's been a
Well, this is a very good thing to bring up actually because sitting at 32 points, one game off the 8, percentage is not looking bad. It's higher than St Kilda's.
I'll tell you who they're playing for the run home. They got Melbourne, they got Geelong, they got Collingwood, they got Richmond, Essendon, and Adelaide.
Essendon and Adelaide, that's 2 wins.
They have Richmond in Adelaide.
I think Richmond wins that game
Oh.
as a Richmond fan.
Bit of a bias right there.
Bit of a bias indeed, but we beat them last time we played them as well.
Yeah.
Pretty convincingly.
I reckon they could win maybe 3-4 more games. Is possible. I don't think they're making finals.
I think that if they come out with a win today, I think they're in contention of winning finals. I think they have an extremely hard run home, which is why these next couple games will be very deciding for Port Adelaide.
Do you reckon if they make finals, they can get to the grand final though? No. How far do you reckon? Like, do you
Same
reckon?
old Port Adelaide. I
Yeah.
think they're a bit of an Essendon and go out first round.
Yeah, I reckon.
I don't think they go any further.
I reckon
at
they get a bit
all.
nervous.
They're not beating Sydney. They're not beating Collingwood. They're not beating Carlton. They're not going to beat Brisbane. They're not beating Freo, Melbourne, or Geelong.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So even if they make that 8, Geelong's swooping them off.
Yeah, I reckon it's going to be a tough year for them. But next year, I honestly think they'll bounce back.
I think so as well.
Yeah,
I think COVID also really did not help anyone of that.
that is very true. And to the Essendon versus Gold Coast, I think match of the
I
round.
think that's you said it before, but I was thinking to myself, I think this is the one.
I think this could be match of the round.
Where
It's
is it?
really, it's
It
at
is.
Marvel.
Marvel. I don't go for either of those teams, but honestly, I think it'd be great to go watch because you look at it. The odds for this game, Suns are at $1.90,
Hmm.
and the Bombers at $1.94.
That is pretty close. Don't bet, but
Don't I mean
it's 3 cents.
small amounts? Don't
Yeah.
bet your mortgage.
But
$5 on the Suns, I reckon.
but
What do you think of this game? How do you feel about it?
Gold Coast. I think Gold Coast win by 10.
Yep.
I reckon it'll be a close
I
game.
agree.
I reckon Gold Coast get over the line.
Yep.
It's gonna be a ripper game, honestly.
I agree.
I have work while it's on, so I think I'm just put the phone up and watch it.
4:40 on a Sunday.
Yeah, I'll be able to watch a bit of it, but
What time do you start working?
I believe I got work at 6, so I can watch the first half probably.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know if we're playing footy, mate.
No. After. Oh yeah, that's very true. That is very true.
We'll be going till 5.
Yeah. Well, you won't be.
I won't be. I'm out.
No.
I'm injured.
I reckon we'll get to that in a second. But
yeah.
how do you think if Essendon wins? What do you think they need to win? How are they going to win?
I think the only way they're going to win this game is if Zach Merritt plays a good game.
Especially with no Darcy Paris.
Yep. I think the reason they won the last 2 rounds is because of Zach Merritt. He's had absolute crazy game.
Yeah.
And I think if they want to win,
He's been playing very well as well.
very good football. But apart from that, I don't think. I guess Peter Wright needs to play a good game, but
Yeah.
that really doesn't affect them too badly.
I reckon Big Sammy Draper, I reckon he could be on for 200 Supercoach points if you have him. Put him as your captain, I reckon.
Yep, definitely, 100%.
Do you reckon Gold Coast can make finals?
I think they're in contention. I'm
Intention.
not too sure if they're run home. I'll have a look.
I'll pull it. I've got it up for you right now. They've got
Yeah.
Essendon this week. Then they have Brisbane in Brisbane.
Oh, never mind.
They got West Coast at home.
That's a win.
They got Hawthorn in Tasmania.
That's a tough game.
They got Geelong at home. And they got
Okay.
North Melbourne at Marvel.
Okay, well, I think
that's about
let's say they
3-4.
win the next 3-4. Yeah,
Yeah, 3-4.
I think if they want to be a
Luck has to go
final
their way.
side, they need to prove that they can beat a big team, and whether that's Brisbane or Geelong,
Yes.
they need to beat one of those teams if they want to make finals.
I reckon I don't think they'll beat Brisbane. They might. I don't think they will.
Not
I think their
Brisbane.
best chance is against Geelong.
Geelong at home, I think so as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also, it is a test for them playing Hawthorn in Tasmania because Hawthorn's
what
a
I'm
very
thinking.
good team in Tasmania. They don't lose much there.
And I think even though Hawthorn's 14th, Gold Coast is 11th, I feel like Hawthorn and Gold Coast are a very similar side in the sense that they're young, they're determined, they're like hard at the ball kind of sides.
I reckon Gold Coast has one or two more maybe key players. I think that's
Couple
what
voice
sets.
crack there.
Yeah. Okay. I see how it is, mate. I see how it is. But I reckon they got one or two more better players than Hawthorn do, and I think that's what sets them apart.
Yeah. Couple more experienced players
Yeah.
and
But
just
I
puts
think-
them that little bit higher.
I think Essendon versus Gold Coast will be a very good round. Very good game, I reckon.
Yep.
Good way to finish off the round, I think it will be.
I think so. I think that's I think that'll be it'll be a good round of footy.
Yeah. We did touch on it just before about our footy. We're obviously playing Ivanhoe, team we haven't played yet. Obviously our team
Yeah.
being 11-0, but
Talking the Yarra Junior Football Club.
yep. But
I think that's a guaranteed win.
guaranteed win for us, yeah.
Well, as always, haven't lost a game this season.
Haven't lost a game.
but Top of Div 1.
Yep,
May
top
I
of do
add.
what? Just got to drop that in there.
Yeah, of course, have to.
Yeah.
Home game.
Home game.
Home games, 3 p.m. games. Those are our favourites.
Get down to there at 3 p.m. You'd love to watch it.
Yeah, home game. Ivanhoe, you've seen the teams that they've lost to.
Yeah.
They almost lost to Beverley. Probably should have lost to Beverley.
Yeah.
I heard they lost played a bad brand of football.
They are interesting. We haven't played them yet, so we really know nothing about them. That's the only
11
thing I
rounds
think.
in and we have not played
Yeah,
them,
it's
which is
crazy.
just nuts.
Obviously, you won't be playing, so you'll be watching from the sidelines.
I will be. Might do the stats.
Might do the stats?
Get the whiteboard going. Might be picking
Oh.
the posies.
Put the posies.
Yeah, never know. Depends if Chris is there or not. But
Be putting me on the wing. 100% match time.
maybe in the back pocket, mate. You
Back
might be
pocket,
sitting there.
mate.
Forward pocket, you can kick a couple
Forward pocket.
points.
Kick a couple points.
Kick a couple points.
Yeah.
4 or 5.
Maybe I reckon I could kick. I reckon I could kick 6.
6,
Yeah.
as you do.
But
this year's looking good. I think
it's
that
gonna look
really
good.
wraps it out.
I think it does. Thank you very much, and I will catch you next episode. Will.
Righto. See you, Callum.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
I'll see you later.
Cheers.